Good evening, I'm Duncan Golostani. The search has continued today for Sarah Everard, who went missing last Wednesday. The 33-year-old was walking to her home in Brixton just after 9 p.m. and has not been seen or heard from since. Our correspondent Simon Harris has more.
Sarah Everard's disappearance is baffling and for her family agonising. At a pond on Clapham Common today, police officers with sniffer dogs were on the water in an inflatable. Detectives insist they have no information to suggest Sarah has come to any harm, but this is a police search on a significant scale.
We are currently knocking on doors. We've spoken to over 750 different people and addresses have been visited. We continue to receive hundreds of calls from the public.
Sarah, who worked in marketing, had recently started a new job. After leaving a friend's house on Leithwaite Road at around 9 p.m. on Wednesday, she's believed to have made her way across Clapham Common. Half an hour later, she was spotted by a CCTV camera using her phone on Poinders Road. But after that, she vanished and never made it back to her home in Brixton. Sarah's walk home last Wednesday night was a journey which should have taken around 50 minutes. Her family said her disappearance was totally out of character. Calls to her mobile have gone unanswered. Today's search was in full view of the many people who enjoy the Common's open space, some taking advantage of the first opportunity since lockdown to meet friends on a park bench.
We've seen them trolling up and down very, very gently, the entire pond, and then they went to the island and they've had two different dogs on two different occasions, and we've only been here an hour. So they are being very, very thorough if she's there.
I think of this area as quite sleepy and quite friendly, so it's a little bit worrying. It makes me a little bit nervous if friends of mine may be walking home at night.
It is very scary, to think that Clapham Common is a safe area and, it makes us feel that it's not safe.
Tonight, police have appealed for drivers with dash cams who were in this area last Wednesday to check their footage for any possible sighting of Sarah, anything which might provide another clue in this puzzle. Simon Harris, ITV News, Clapham Common.
But now, moving on, and police have been combing drains in Clapham as they continue the search for a woman who's been missing now for almost a week. Sarah Everard, who's 33, had been walking home from Clapham to Tulse Hill after visiting a friend last Wednesday evening. Her phone was last picked up on the South Circular before the signal stopped. She hasn't been seen or heard from since. From Clapham, Simon Harris reports.
Every drain on Sarah's route home was being emptied and searched today. It's not clear what the police were hoping to find, but Sarah's phone hasn't responded to calls since her disappearance. One of Clapham Common's ponds was also the focus of police activity as divers checked to see if there was anything beneath the surface. Close by, 5 housemates were having a birthday party, all too aware of what's happened.
Obviously it's heightened how everyone feels about walking home. And we walk home at like 9 o'clock at night from work anyway.
Young girl on her own, walking down a normal street, it is worrying.
If you can't be safe going home, then where can you be safe? It's a bit scary when you think that, it could be any one of us.
Jane and Rosalind were on one of the roads Sarah walked along last Wednesday.
There's no way I'd be walking outside my door now after dark after hearing something like that. I'd be terrified to do so.
Definitely gives me cause for concern and would make me think twice about my routes home or the method of transport I use in future.
Sarah's uncle Doug issued a statement on behalf of the family saying, "We have heard nothing more. We have literally got no news. We are just sitting down at the television now, but there is nothing new. It's horrible, horrible, horrible. We are hoping and praying she will be home safe. There are bits of news that we are desperate for, but we do not have any." After leaving a friend's house on Leithwaite Road at around 9 p.m. on Wednesday, Sarah's thought to have crossed Clapham Common before heading along Poinders Road, where half an hour later she was spotted by a CCTV camera using her phone. Poinders Road is part of the South Circular. Even in lockdown, it's busy with traffic. What happened to Sarah after she walked down here is a complete mystery. Which is why police are appealing for anyone with dashcam footage who was driving along the South Circular last Wednesday to come forward. Sarah's MP knows the route she was taking.
Living around here, I know that if you want to get from where she was, it's quite complicated to take a bus, so the easiest way is actually to walk it. And it isn't the best lit area, and I think that's also causing some more concern.
Back on Clapham Common, we spoke to Emma, who runs a tracking app which tells you if you're approaching a crime hotspot.
I think it's tougher for women anyway. I hate to stereotype, but, definitely as a female, a pregnant one, I've definitely felt nervous in some situations when walking home alone at night. And I think that, it is genuinely just a bit tougher for us sometimes.
Detectives have released new pictures of Sarah, one of them showing her in the distinctive green coat she was wearing. They're also telling worried local people more police will be on the streets. Simon Harris, ITV News, Clapham.
Good evening. We come on air tonight with significant developments in the search for Sarah Everard, the London woman missing for a week. Right now, a serving Metropolitan Police officer is being questioned on suspicion of her murder and kidnap. Sarah, a 33-year-old marketing executive, disappeared last Wednesday while walking home in Clapham. Well, the focus of this investigation has now moved to Kent, where police are searching a property in Deal and Woodland in Ashford. Our correspondent Simon Harris is there for us this evening. Simon, what's the latest?
Lucrezia, this morning the police said they were searching as hard as they could to find Sarah. But by this afternoon, it was clear there had been a dramatic change in the investigation. It was no longer a hunt for a missing person. Instead, it was a murder case. And tonight, in the woodland behind me, there is intense police activity. More than 50 miles from where Sarah was last seen alive, the hunt for the missing 33-year-old switched to the Kent countryside. Search teams from London arrived at a disused golf driving range and paintball site near Ashford. It came just hours after an off-duty Met police officer and a woman were arrested.
The fact that the man who's been arrested is a serving Metropolitan Police officer is both shocking and deeply disturbing. I recognise the significant concern this will cause.
The arrest took place at a house in the Kent seaside town of Deal. This too was at the centre of a police operation throughout the day. Cars were taken away. Neighbours confirmed it was the home of a police officer.
I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning because I'm a light sleeper anyway, and I could hear all activity down there with car doors and police cars.
I saw this tent going up and I said, oh, must be an incident. And I said, oh no, it's a policeman that lives there. He's having some work done.
Sarah Everard vanished a week ago tonight. She was last seen leaving a friend's house in Leithwaite Road around 9 p.m. last Wednesday. She's thought to have crossed Clapham Common before heading along Poinders Road. Here, CCTV captured her on her phone as she made her way home to Brixton. Last night, police arrested a man and a woman in Deal in Kent, and today began searching land near the town of Ashford. Police described the investigation today as fast-paced, and there were rapid developments. To begin with, Scotland Yard said little more than a serving police officer had been arrested on suspicion of kidnap. But then came the most significant update. He was now being questioned on suspicion of murder, as well as indecent exposure. The first signs of increased activity in the case came yesterday evening, when police cordoned off and searched a housing estate on Poinders Road, close to where Sarah disappeared.
You can just imagine what Sarah's family are going through, and we've been in contact with them, and they'll continue to be in our thoughts and prayers. As soon as there are further developments, the Met Police Service will let the public know, but of course it's right and proper that the family knows first.
As the light began to fade, a police helicopter with a powerful camera and thermal imaging sensor hovered over the golf driving range. A police forensic science team arrived at the search site, and less than a mile away, Met police officers blocked a road leading to a village church.
And Simon, what more have police said tonight?
Well, look, Lucrezia, as well as the change in emphasis from missing person to murder inquiry, we've learned a little more about the suspect. It's highly unusual for the police to give any details about someone who's been arrested, but not only has Scotland Yard told us he's a serving police officer who was off duty, but he was also a member of the Diplomatic Protection Unit which guards embassies. The woman who was arrested on suspicion of assisting an offender. It's taken the police a week to get to this point. It's a week since Sarah went missing, and tonight the Met has referred itself to the Independent Office for Police Conduct.
All right, Simon Harris, thank you.
Good evening, I'm Duncan Golestani. The Prime Minister has said he is shocked and deeply saddened after human remains were discovered in the search for Sarah Everard. Police are still questioning a serving Metropolitan Police officer for her kidnap and murder. And this afternoon, the Mayor of London pleaded for anyone who has any information about him or Sarah's disappearance to come forward. In the last hour, it's emerged that police officer has been taken to hospital for injuries he sustained in custody. We'll have more on that in a moment. But first, our correspondent Simon Harris on the day's developments.
This is the disused golf driving range where search teams made the harrowing discovery of human remains. For a second day, the former leisure complex near Ashford in Kent was at the centre of the police operation. Sniffer dogs were once again being used as part of the search. At one point, a convoy of police vehicles was seen heading towards another site in Woodland, not far away. It's just over a week since Sarah vanished last Wednesday night as she walked home to Brixton after seeing a friend in Clapham.
It's really important anybody in the Clapham area or anybody else who has any information about the man arrested, about what happened to Sarah, please cooperate with the police. The police are doing a thorough and meticulous investigation to make sure justice is done.
In the Kent seaside town of Deal, a steel fence now hides the police activity at the home of the main suspect. He's a serving Met police officer being held on suspicion of murder and kidnap. In a tweet, the Prime Minister said, "I am shocked and deeply saddened by the developments in the Sarah Everard investigation. Like the whole country, my thoughts are with her family and friends. We must work fast to find all the answers to this horrifying crime." What happened to Sarah has sparked a big debate, much of it online. Women across London have been sharing their experiences of how unsafe they feel and what measures they're forced to take to protect themselves. These are so powerful because each and every woman can relate, the Home Secretary said in a statement. Every woman should feel safe to walk on our streets without fear of harassment or violence.
This is not something new just to adult women who are walking home from work in the dark. These are women and girls have had to take safety precautions since we were kids. Getting off the school bus, you have to take a certain route. Getting home from sporting events, you have to take a certain route.
In Parliament, a London MP was cautioned by the Deputy Speaker when she mentioned the man arrested in the Everard case.
The suspect is a policeman that roamed the corridors of Parliament.
Careful what she says, please. I won't say any more than that. Perhaps she could go on to the next part of her speech.
I have made a Freedom of Information request to establish how many police officers have been investigated for domestic violence.
It's also been reported that the suspect was working at the American Embassy in Nine Elms on the day Sarah disappeared. He's part of the Met's diplomatic protection squad. The embassy declined to comment. Simon Harris, ITV News.